everybody. Welcome back to the channel. As always, I'm Andrew Kavanaugh, and I want to say thank you for coming to Kavanaugh's Corner. Now, usually on the channel, I review 4K Ultra HD Blu-rays, physical media, stuff like that. Every now and then, I do a video like this, where I kind of just talk about things related to entertainment or physical media in general. Today, I wanted to talk about something that has kind of been on my mind a lot lately, and yeah, it's not a review of anything, so if you're not interested, you know, I'll see you in the next review. I wanted to talk about this because my friend and I, a good friend of mine, was talking the other day. You know, I saw a story on the news and saw that the price of Netflix is going up again. And now this is the second time this has happened in less than 2 years. And it really kind of led me down this rabbit hole of thinking about just like how crazy are the prices of streaming now? Like, what is the average cost of owning a bunch of these streaming services if you have a ton of them? I kept thinking about this, so I wanted to do this video talking about, you know, my love of physical media, but also about kind of just how awful streaming has become as of lately. So this is kind of a little rant video of mine. I hope you stick through it. The whole point of this is, you know, I'm not really a big fan of streaming, as you can tell. I'd rather own a movie. I'd rather buy it once and own it forever than ever having to pay a monthly fee to maybe see that movie. And I'm also not really a big fan of buying movies digitally. It is easier. It is a much more simpler way of doing things. You don't have to worry about storage. You don't have to worry about space. And I totally understand why a lot of people are big fans of streaming services and buying movies on like iTunes and Amazon and things like that. I totally get that. But for me, the value of this is not having to have an internet connection if something happens. I mean, everybody's got internet now. You can't live without it. But if I don't have the internet, it doesn't matter. I can still pick a movie off the shelf and put it in my player. Of course, one of these movies is probably equal to, if not more expensive, than 1 month of Netflix or Hulu or Amazon Prime or something like that. But to me, it's the value in the long run, and I'll explain that as the video goes on here. I've mentioned it in other videos, but, you know, when you buy a movie digitally, you don't really own it. And I mention this a lot because a lot of people aren't aware of the fact that if one thing happens with the rights of that movie, and it has happened in the past numerous times, where if a studio loses the rights to a movie, or maybe even the service that's carrying the film can't carry it anymore due to the wishes of the filmmakers or some kind of lawsuit going on. There's so many things that can happen. You will lose that film and you are not getting your money back. It is gone. So I hate buying movies digitally unless it's an absolute necessity. Sadly, there are quite a few movies out there that are available digitally that are not on physical media. And if they are on physical media, it might just be like DVD or VHS or something. They've never gotten a Blu-ray release. To me, digital is kind of like a last resort type of thing. And streaming to me is something that I understand it's kind of the zeitgeist right now. But with these streaming prices going higher and higher and higher, I really don't know how much longer people are going to put up with this. And maybe it's just treated as like a necessity, like a utility, like having electricity or water. I don't know. These are the questions that I make these videos to pose to you, the viewer. I ask these questions because streaming used to be a viable option. Maybe 8 or 10 years ago, streaming was really, really impressive back then. Netflix was a way to get tons of movies and TV shows instantly, and it was easier than going to a movie store or Best Buy or something and buying the movie when you got it for like $8 a month and you could watch it in high definition and later 4K. $10 a month, $10, That's not a bad deal for that. But now we're at the point where these streaming services have just really become exorbitant in their fees, or at least in my opinion they are. Prices of these streaming services just keep getting higher and higher and higher. And I mentioned earlier in the video that Netflix just announced their uptick in prices, and their premium 4K subscription now is $27 a month. Now, that's when we're getting into 4K Blu-ray territory. You can easily find a movie in 4K for less than that now. And you can easily buy maybe 3 regular standard Blu-rays for that price. Now, of course, with Netflix, you're getting way more than 1 to 4 movies, or 3 or 4 movies, I should say, for that price. But what's the caveat there? You don't own it, and it could be gone. You also don't have a choice of what they carry. You're just getting what they give you. So to me, that's kind of a lose-lose situation. And I guess, you know, $27 a month is still an appealing price to some people, but I have heard from quite a few of my friends that they're just done. They're just done with Netflix now at this point, because at $27, they just kind of gone past the threshold. Maybe it's a $25 threshold, I don't know. But $27 is a lot to ask. I mean, that's basically a meal, or maybe a cheap meal for 2. And to sacrifice a meal for entertainment, to me, is kind of insane. I mean, I'm guilty of this as well. Even though I don't really have a ton of streaming services, the ones I do have come with another subscription for free. So I pay for like Walmart Plus because I like having my groceries delivered. Sorry, I just do. But that to me is worth that yearly fee that they charge. But I get Paramount Plus for free with it. So I'll occasionally watch like Tulsa King or something on there. I'll watch one of their TV shows just to kill the time when I've got nothing else to watch, but not like I don't have a lot else to watch, but I like, you know, I like the show, and something like that, again, it's exclusive. And maybe that's the value in it to people, are these exclusive shows and movies and stuff. But paying for Paramount Plus separately is something that I don't think I'd ever do, to be honest with you. If it wasn't included, I wouldn't have it. Same thing with like Amazon Prime Video. I have Amazon Prime Video. There's no way on God's green earth they're ever going to get me to pay an additional $5 to not see ads. I just don't watch much on there anymore, because if I'm paying $139, $140 a year for Amazon Prime, I shouldn't have to pay $5 for ads. That to me is lunacy. But maybe some of you do. Hulu is another streaming service that's out there. It's very, very popular. That's $19 a month for their ad-free subscription. Disney Plus is around $16 a month right now for their ad-free service. Apple TV Plus, which ironically enough, I've heard is outstanding. My friend has it, and they have a decent selection of stuff, but their original programming, I guess, is some of the best out there. That one is $13 a month for their ad-free service. And as I mentioned, Prime comes with Prime, but if you don't want the ads, it's an additional $5 a month. Hang in there, there's more. HBO Max is another one that's very, very big. That one is $23 a month for their 4K premium subscription. Paramount Plus, as I mentioned earlier, is $14 a month if you have it with Showtime and without ads. And Peacock is $17 a month without ads. Now, Peacock is where you're going to find a lot of NBC shows, the Law and Orders and stuff like that. And also you get a bunch of Universal movies from Universal Studios, because they are affiliated with NBC. I'm pretty sure they're owned by NBC or vice versa. Don't quote me on that. After kind of going through this, I was really doing some math here. And if you have all of the services that I just mentioned, which you might, you very well might, you're paying over $130 a month for all these services. That's kind of crazy to me. Like, that's nuts. Now, of course, I may spend over $130 for like maybe 5 or 6 movies in one sitting, but I got them forever. These services, you got that programming on there until they say you don't anymore. And that can happen from one week to another, from 1 month to another. The only other way to really save money in this situation is if you're doing like a bundle, where you bundle like the Disney bundle, where you get like ESPN, Hulu, and Disney Plus all together. And even then, you may be saving around, $20, $30. But if you're not doing that and, you're looking at a year of services for all these things that you pay monthly, you're spending around $1,400. And that's with the Amazon Prime subscription. So think about that. $1,400 a year. It blows my mind. It's insane. It's completely insane to me. To be honest, the reason why I made this video is to kind of tell people that this actually is becoming a more viable option for some people. A lot of my friends are going out and finding movies on DVD and Blu-ray because they don't want to pay these services anymore. And also, some of them are not finding the programming, even their original programming, like I mentioned, they're not liking it. They're not enjoying any of it. It's just not for them. So they find a few movies, maybe at a Goodwill or something, for dirt cheap, and they just watch those. Or a TV show or something on DVD or Blu-ray. They just watch that show anytime they want, no internet required. So this is one of those things where you really have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth keeping these streaming services going from month to month? Or maybe you're saving a few dollars and you're paying for a year in advance, but even then, you're spending $100 or maybe more a year for one service where you own none of it. So think about that, and also, what is the cap on these streaming services? There seems to be no end in sight for how high these prices are going to go. So I want to hear from you, the viewer. What is your cutoff point with these streaming services, if you even have any? How high is too high? Maybe you're already at that limit, maybe you're not. But to me, I think we're at the point now where people are kind of rebelling against these streaming services. I know they're extremely popular still, but I'm hearing more and more from people I know that they've just had enough and they're going back to like cable, because cable is cheaper with their on-demand options, and they're just doing that. So it's like we're going backwards instead of forwards here. Also, if there's somebody watching out there that works for one of these streaming services, how much is enough? It just goes higher and higher and higher and higher. People are just not going to pay for it after a while. I beg you, please put a cap on these streaming services if you can. I just don't see myself ever signing up for another streaming service as long as time goes on, unless this comes to an end, which I really hope it doesn't. I love physical media, and I hope you do too. Maybe this video opened your mind to just how nuts the idea of the streaming service subscription hikes are. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't, and I hope that in the future you'll join me back again at Kavanaugh's Corner. I know this was a weird one, but it's just something I had to talk about because this kind of thing, the streaming services, the price hikes, everything, it's just one more thing that people have to deal with, and it stinks. To me, it stinks. It's another bill that keeps getting higher for people. And personally, it's not worth it to me. So anyway, I wish you guys all the very best. Please stay safe, keep collecting, and if you're starting collecting, good luck, and take it easy.